So guys, have you been wondering how to cut a bubu gown? Okay, this video is for you. So I'm gonna head to fold my Ankara fabric right side to right side, just like you were saying. And then I'll mark the width of my neck, which is 3 inches. So you can go ahead and mark 3.5 inches. But based on my calculation, the width of my client's neck is 3 inches. So after that, I'll go ahead to mark the depth of my neck, and I'll be marking 9 inches for the depth of my neck. So guys, I'll go ahead and mark the width of my neck at the end of the depth of my neck. Whatever width of neck you use is the same width of neck you are going to mark at the end of the depth of your neck. That is 3 inches up, 3 inches, and then also at the down part 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect it down with a straight line. So at the end of the depth of my neck, I'm going to come in by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect that 1 inch back to the end of the width of my neck. And then I'll connect it with a straight line. So guys, the next thing that I'll be marking is the length of my sleeve. That's the next thing that we're going to mark. And since I don't want the length of my client's sleeve to exceed her elbow, so guys, I'm going to place my tape at the middle of her back. You know the cloth is on fold, so I'll go ahead and mark 19 inches for the length of her sleeve, and the depth of her sleeve is going to be 9 inches. You can mark 10 inches, but 9 inches is going to be okay for her. So I'll quickly connect it with a straight line. And then the next thing that we're going to mark now is the shoulder to hip measurement. So at the shoulder to hip measurement, I will then input my circumference measurement, my hip circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches for ease. So you can go ahead and add more than 4 inches depending on how big you want your bubu gown to be. But since I don't want her own to be too big for her, I just added 4 inches to that. So I'll be marking this hip circumference measurement divided by 4 on all the bodies, starting from the hip down to the full length of the gown. And also I'm going to connect it up to the armhole area. And at the armhole area, I'm going to be making a curve. As you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to use a curve to connect it. So I'll go ahead and continue to mark my hip circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches down to the full length of my gown. So guys, when sewing your bubu gown, you just need to take your hip circumference measurement, the length of your gown, and then the length of your sleeve. Okay, that's the measurement you need to take. So as you can see, this is the full length of my gown, and I'll go ahead and add 3 inches for turning in of the down part of my gown. You can add 2 inches, 2.5 inches, but I want to mark 3 inches for mine. So I'll go ahead and also input that same measurement, hip circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches for ease. So guys, the 4 inches that I'm adding for ease, I'm going to be taking out half inch on both sides for my sewing allowance. So at the end of my work, I'm going to be left with 3.5 inches. Take note on that. So I'll quickly cut out my front pattern, and then I'll go ahead to show you guys how to cut out the back. So when it comes to the front neck, remember that we come in by 1 inch, so you're going to be cutting out the 1 inch, and then you're going to stop at the width of your neck, just like you see me doing. From the end of the 1 inch, you cut it up to the width of your neck. So guys, that's all for the front block. As you can see, very simple. So guys, let us go ahead and cut out our back pattern. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric right side to right side. I folded it right side to right side, just like I did for the front block. So the only difference between the front block and then the back block is the depth of the neck. The depth of the neck, the width of the neck remains the same. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark the same width of neck I marked for my front block, which is 3 inches, and for the depth of my back's neck is going to be 2 inches. That's the only difference between the front and the back pattern. So you go ahead and connect the width of your neck 3 inches to the depth of your neck, which is 2 inches. So guys, that's the only difference. Then you just go ahead and mark the length of your sleeve, just starting from the center back. Then you also go ahead and mark the depth of your sleeve. Nothing changes at this point. And then the shoulder to hip measurement, and then at the shoulder to hip you input your circumference measurement, your hip circumference divided by 4 plus 4 inches for ease. I told you guys you are free to make use of more than 4, and then you go ahead and connect it to your armhole area. So after that, you take down your hip circumference measurement to the full length of your gown. Don't forget to add the same sewing allowance you added as of the front. Okay guys, check on the next video I posted on how to sew this bubble gown. See you guys on my next one.